What's up, YouTube? We're gonna look at cars. I had an avalanche of cars I found. It seems all the new releases are hitting retail all at the same time, and people have been hunting even during what's all been going on. There has not been a slowdown on people taking the good stuff off the peg, so I have to be very sharp. But we did get some good ones. I actually got one that was backdated a few months because that finally showed up on the pegs. I didn't want to pay scalp prices. My holding out, my patience on at least this time paid off. Sometimes it doesn't. So we'll look at that vehicle too. But let's start with the M2. I don't get too many M2s, but this one was really cool. This is a new casting. The vehicle that they were teasing us collectors with. The Datsun pickup truck. This is a 620 Datsun. 1976. This body went from the early 70s, like 72, 3, all the way to 79. The Datsun 620. This is a model kit, so-called. M2 does. We'll take a look real quick. I did put it together. Comes in a very attractive package. It has Yokohama licensing. So I took everything out, of course. It's got the old school logo, which it's a little creepy. I just think that's I think it's because they use skid color. I think that's what bothers me about that. But anyway, not my most favorite logo. A lot of people do like it. It's kind of kitschy, I guess you'd say. Let's Go. It's kind of like their earlier, and they were involved in high performance tires for a long time. I mean, it's basically the Japanese house tire. So it comes with some cool optional stuff. It's got kind of like a modern Nissan engine that you can put in there. Let's take a look. I'm not going to take these out. These are really tiny. These rims, a normal rim size, much larger. So putting this vehicle together, my fingers, I was pinching it mostly. It was very tiny. But we did get a good result out of it, and actually, I was kind of commenting on the earlier videos. Like I said, if we were able to put it together ourselves, the castings from all the companies actually are nice when they're just assembled with a little bit less, more time involved, basically taking your time. It is a metal chassis. The vehicle comes assembled. The only thing that's missing, it even has the interior installed, is the engine bay, which I bid the stock because I wanted this vehicle. I didn't want to use this as a souped up. This would have been a good shop truck, so that's what it's going to be. Installed the stock 4-cylinder in it, and I put the Steelies. They gave me white walls, but they're not really straight when you roll the wheels. Like most white walls on 164th, they're always crooked. But I think the black walls look good. They have a very tall system here for the axles because they drill it in two different places. I mean, this can definitely be a four-wheel drive with the same chassis. There was some flash, so I had to file the holes because the vehicle was sitting like this until I leveled it. So it sits a little low, even for a stock Datsun. It's almost like it's lowered. So I guess I'll give it that. It's got a mild lower to it. Definitely a JDM or a foreign market one. You see the fender mirrors, and also it's got right-hand drive. But it's a kind of a great casting. So it's really tiny, pretty true to 164th. I mean, M2 sometimes runs a slightly large, but not by much. The bumper is separate. It's plastic. So in actuality, these trucks, they really didn't have bumpers. They were just rolled like that. You put the license plate in the middle. But that would be metal on the real vehicle. It's got the little hooks there that they had. You'd be able to tie stuff externally. Bed is kind of shallow, just like their Silverado. But the body lines are decent. The A-pillar and everything is thin. It's not too thick. It's got that body It's got that really nice. Well, they tried doing it on these trucks. One of the nice things about the design is that how the body kind of curls over there and becomes a spear, and from the middle of the door through to the bed line kind of follows. So it's a very delicate design. The grill design on these 70s ones looks really good too, and it's got a nice basic drivetrain. They did offer an automatic in North America on this truck. They offered up to a 5-speed manual transmission. If it was a domestic truck, they did have a 2-liter 4-cylinder by 76. So it grew. It got more powerful as the decade wore on. Yokohama graphics. Let's take a look at Mr. Tire or Mrs. Tire. And then again the engine. Let's see if we can get some light in there on the subject. It's just a really flat pan. It's nothing to write home about, but it's got some detail. They would angle the snorkel out to the fender. And then you can see Datsun. See a bit of that there. You know, when you compare this to the Hot Wheels casting, which I have, I can't get it real quick. I think the Datsun, obviously the casting from Hot Wheels is a lot larger than this. And you know, when you see these small cars like Beetles and Volkswagens and Datsun 510s, they're really small. They're really tiny. As a matter of fact, there's a Greenlight one I got a while back. And when you look at the scale, I mean, they're very similar. But when you put it next to an American vehicle, you could see, I mean, look at that. Shows you a big difference. And obviously, as you saw the thumbnail, we'll get to see the minis later. Those are new from Greenlight as well. So excited to share those with everyone coming up. So there's our Datsun. This is going to be out. This is probably going to be one of their very popular castings. They are going to do a 4-wheel drive version. They've already been out with the transport sets they could make, the trucks series. So, but this one kind of seemed kind of stock, and they did have a 6-pack of these. I just haven't seen them yet locally. I can't remember if they're an exclusive or if they're Walmart, etc. So anyway, glad to have one. I think I'll slow down with this casting. I like it, but I'll probably not get every single one of them. But we'll see. Who knows? Maybe they have a really good looking one. And the other cool thing about these, as any of the quote unquote model kit, because it's really not a heavy duty model, is you get the base. You don't get an acrylic top, but you do get the metal 4-post lift here. Like that. So, comes off. Really, to make this accurate, you could probably take this off with some acetone, and then you'd want to file these down, and then it would sit better. But you could put 2 cars on, you know, one underneath and one on top, and they do this. It doesn't move. Many people have seen these. It just kind of, so that's a little silly, but it's good. I mean, I'll probably put it in the. You could probably put it in the garage like that, you know, something like that, and then put another car up there or whatever. So M2 gives you stuff to play with, gives me extra wheels and tires, gave me another screwdriver. Probably have, I'm sure people that get them a lot, they probably have a bucket full of those screwdrivers. I don't think you'll ever throw out a screwdriver. They should give us 10mm sockets in there as a free gift. This I thought was interesting before we move on. The instructions, they have the instructions, and it's a raw picture. So a casting in the raw. Nothing's applied. So you can kind of see the parts content. I thought that was kind of cool. It's almost like their pre-production shots of the vehicle. It's good. You could take it apart. The dash comes off the base of the windshield, like the cowl area, with a screw. So you can easily take the windshield out and everything like that. Okay, so M2. It's kind of a great casting. Looks really cool. Alright. Let's look at because we'll do, I guess we'll do Greenlight all in one session. So let's look at Auto World. This is release 2 for 2020. A lot of the Facebook groups and Instagram guys, they've been finding these at Walmart. Seems like distribution has been more even. It seems like the cases are hitting simultaneously instead of it being like in one area of the country before the other. A lot of reds I've been seeing, but again, they'll put the reds out and they'll just hammer them with the rest of the cases. So people find those. Saw a few raws people getting. I haven't seen anything like that, but I did see these in a couple areas. Didn't get the Wrangler, but I got this, of course. I love the Buick cars. Really neat with the New Mexico registration. So we'll look at this car. And they're doing a 75 Buick Estate. This is fantastic, of course, green. So I'm glad I found this before I found the silver over red car. This has a really matching, or a really cool matching dark green interior. So really, really dark green. A lot of the videos and pictures of these cars don't do it justice because, and not even probably this one. This green is a very rich emerald green. It looks awesome. What do they call it? Verde mist poly. So if that's what Buick called it, that's what they called it. That's what Auto World is calling it anyway. What an amazing car. This would have been your Suburban of the day back in the 70s. Families that wanted the size and towing capacity would have bought something like this. This would have offered the most interior equipment as well. More than the trucks of the day. Even though you could get Suburbans and international full size and Ford at this point. Magic tailgate. Clamshell. The glass would go in through the roof. Tailgate would slide under the floor. Really cool. Huge bumper. We've seen this car before. Let's just take a zoom just to see how they've been keeping up with their details. Looks like the casting hasn't aged hasn't aged much. It seems to be still crisp. The wheels, they could be detailed a little bit better, but not worse for wear yet. You can see that very thick glass. Makes the windshield look a little jacked up. It's got that dark green interior. You could see that the best when we look at the dash pad. We'll see that in a minute. Really thin white wall tires. They run that white wall really out on the tire. It would have been nicer if it was slightly thicker and just a little bit more inboard. I think it will look a little bit more realistic. But it's decent. I mean, they make great tires. They make great chassis. They have figured out the best pricing structure for the quality of the vehicle. Very rarely is there much wrong with these cars. Even this will roll it. I mean, just a slight wobble, but nothing like M2 or Greenlight has been. Although some Greenlight vehicles have been a lot better recently, and I've pointed that out in past videos. You can see the Buick on the tailgate. Fantastic. Alright. Full-size Buick. I mean, who's not going to want like that? I don't know. Not too many people. Big thumbs up for this one. So that'll look good with the other ones. Of course, the other ones are up on the shelf because there's so many cars to choose from. It's hard for me to figure out new cars for the layout. I try to always get my favorites. I should be trying to get more interesting cars than just what I like. Alright, well, this is a brand new casting. Really, really fantastic. I wasn't going to order it or anything, but I knew it was new, and I wanted to see how noteworthy it would be. And actually, when I saw it in person, I was like, this is awesome. It was just like when I saw the Ford trucks, the 19 F-150 trucks. The 19 Silverado, it's a brand new body for General Motors, and of course the Sierra as well. And I kind of studied this for a little bit before talking about it because I wanted to get up to speed again on these newer trucks. They offer a lot of options. We'll take a look at the card. You can see the grill. This is a loaded truck, and you can see they're saying they can make all the different trim levels, meaning the grill and the tires and wheels chains, but not much else. They can probably make up for the rest. And again, if you want a screenshot, there you go. All right, so seems to be, as we knew it, the 66 Chevelle or the Malibu. That thing, you could get 50 of those right now if you wanted to. They always make a peg warmer. They can't all be hits. I mean, it's a great car, but... So this is almost as big as the Ford. Or actually, no, the same size. I got a white one in there we'll take out in a minute, but let's just soak in the details. These are like 20 to 22 inch rims on these bigger trucks. This is a high country. It's going to be one of the highest trim levels you can get on the Silverado. They got a lot of innovative features now. I mean, a lot of different things with their trailer package. The way the motors deactivate the cylinders is really crazy. They have power folding tailgates and all sorts of crazy stuff, you know. And of course, all the news things like lane departure warning, and you know, it's center self-steering basically when you're doing lane departure, and blind spot monitor and surround view camera, you know, just all sorts of crazy stuff. Wi-Fi, just a lot a lot of technology. The vehicle's really big. It has been quite a departure from their current styling. So this kind of was debuted late 2018 as a brand new model. The casting is done very good. This is black. They also have a blue one. I don't have that. I haven't seen it yet. Seems like they release one version at a time around where I've seen it anyway. Do a wide shot. They didn't mold a sunroof in there. You could see the tailpipes are kind of part of the bumper, which is how it is on the real truck. Very tall stance now. The Silverado seems like the bed has grown taller. Tailgate. Just like a lot of their trucks, their recent ones, the fit is very tight. So when these are new, a lot of times the paint is still bonded together. So I had to do a little pushing on this tailgate the first time I dropped it. Shiny bed, so they didn't replicate a bed line or anything. They paint the tail lights. Everything's painted on Auto World. Nothing is a separate piece like in Greenlight. Fixed running boards. You know, they do have retractable, I think. They put white on the grill. And let me see if I can get a pointer real quick. Use this. So like right here, I was looking at this. I think this would still be chrome. And on like Z71 or sport trucks, this is like body color right here. But they did the white there. I think that's supposed to be just more grill. And this is, of course, the thing that gets everybody loving or hating Chevy, is this interesting detail with the headlights. I kind of like it. I mean, it looks like they're cars. They're trying to do it, you know, everybody be on the same page with styling. This is a high country. It has a 6.2. It's kind of like the largest displacement engine you can get, but there's also 6 engines that are available. I don't know if the diesel has come online yet, but there's supposed to be a 3-liter inline 6-cylinder turbo diesel. It's like a 310 horsepower motor. I guess they're, you know, emissions, compliance, they're running into issues. That might have been resolved. I just haven't seen anything else. But 6.2, it's been around. Obviously, it's been revised. And you still can get a 4.3. And then with the least horsepower on this truck, it's 285. They have a 310 horsepower, 2.7 liter inline 4 turbo, which is an optional engine. So the 4-cylinder is actually optional. And then they have the old 5.3, which now on certain trim levels, which I thought was interesting, used to have displacement, on-demand displacement on the 8 and the 6, you know, on the generation prior. And they'd run on 4 cylinders, either one of them. Now the 8-cylinder can run on as little as 2 cylinders, which I thought was nuts. So that's pretty cool. And I think the 6.2 has something similar, but I know the 5.3 has a bunch of different multi-displacement computer programs to it. So there it is, Silverado. Let's look at the base and let's get a little bit closer. Mine came with a factory defect. As you can see, look at that tire. The inside rim has been busted on that tire, so it does spin good. Hopefully I find a one to replace this. It doesn't affect it too much. You can see that, I mean, it spins good, but that was disappointing. full metal base, and they also integrate the rear bumper to the chassis. So it truly is separate from the bed. I thought that made it look a lot more realistic. I thought that was really good. You can see they emboss the Chevrolet just like on the real one. Get some light on the subject here. So it's just good stuff. No plates. It's almost like it's a dealer lot truck. There's no plates. So you could kind of do this. You put a fake window sticker in this. Kind of get a few of them. It would be cool to put those together like that. Alright, so Silverado. Breaking some ground with some new castings. The first one of the collection. Hopefully I find the blue one. That would be very nice. Alright, we're going to do Greenlight from now on. This is a casting, has been around, but I did see it's actually rather new to the market. The latest release of Greenlight Hollywood 164th. 89 Chevrolet Blazer. Look at this. What makes this cool is obviously it's part of the movie, but a triple black square body Blazer. Everybody loves that. I don't know who wouldn't. So I'm going to take this out of the package real quick. And of course we have some Ace Ventura. They have Morgan Creek is the license holder. I was trying to remember who bought them out. You know, they're always consolidating and going bankrupt. Production companies. All right, here we go. Nice Blazer, really, really nice. And I haven't watched Ace Ventura in such a long time. I can't remember who drove this vehicle. If it was his, if it was someone else's. Comment below for everybody who forgot what the black Blazer has to do with Ace Ventura. We've seen this before. They did an atrocious job on the grill. Look at that. Isn't that sad? So, someone was pointing the spray gun down when they were doing the grill. Headlights are done okay. So that's actually an easy fix. I can take some of that black off, expose the grill, and then redo the black with a black wash, and that won't be so bad. But let's take a look at how it comes out of the package so you know what might to expect. Shiny black, it's got the stripe on there. Doesn't say Blazer where it should. Let's take a zoom and make sure. So yeah, there should be some factory markings there. So this might be kind of more of a custom. Chevrolet's done great, and then of course you got California registration, or Florida registration with those older tags, which is really cool. Very nice. Tinted window. Pops right off. No roll bar, of course. We've seen this. Obviously the ride height's too low. I haven't fixed any of my Blazers yet because I've been working on pickup trucks when I have the chance. So eventually I'm going to get some Blazers. I did get some doubles of Blazers, so I don't have to worry about hacking them up for lift kits. But I'm just trying to look for the better rims right now for these things. They'll probably do a factory lifted one very soon. If they haven't already, I can't remember. They might have one for the gas company that running on empty stuff. Good looking truck. Let's look at the serial. Let's see where we are. Right smack dab in the middle. 5357. I'm sure they made a little bit more than that. Hollywood seems to get a high production. It's definitely not a hobby exclusive, is what they'd call it, for the lower production ones. Yeah, the headlights, I guess, look a little bit jacked up, too. I'm going to have to fix all that. You know, the underlying casting, though, is spot on. I mean, the grill is really good. I haven't even fixed the red one. Let's just take a look at the red one. I think the red one's a 91. They've almost made all the grills. I was looking at the GMC grill. So this is the Mecum truck. I think this is the 91. The headlights are still a little small on it, but you could see. That was a little bit better. Had to get that down. Who doesn't like that body style Blazer K5? Wonderful. Absolutely amazing. So 1989 Blazer, Ace Ventura. I'm going to park this one over here by the Ram Charger. I think if it was sitting like the Ram Charger, it'd probably be a lot better. Alright, more Greenlight. Let's take a look here. What are we doing? We're going to look at Greenlight. This is the elusive casting I was talking about. This is a very, very heavily anticipated and hoarded vehicle. I did find it hanging. 1986 Caprice Brougham, which is their highest trim. It even has the wire wheel covers. So, Series 2 on vintage ad cars, and there's your others. What did I get this time? I think I got I got the 53 Studebaker. I got the Cougar, the Club Wagon, and the Caprice. Did not get the Jeep or the Chevy yet. Nice stuff. Let's take a look. Let's take a look real quick. I mean, how cool is this thing? Everybody's grandmother drove this vehicle, and then every grandson drove it after the grandmother. Unless they hated it. But they had to have been dumb in the head not to want to drive a car like this. I don't know who would want. And I mean, I'm sorry, but I did have a Caprice. It was just a later one, and I loved it, and it had low miles on it, and she never did oil changes on time, so I had to do a lot of maintenance to it. But it did have low miles. Some grandmothers are better on the cars than others. 86, driven many of these. They're awesome, very floaty, but they have somewhat of a tight stance. It is very long and awkward looking like this car, but it's amazing. The proportions are just wonderful. Let's take a look. Two-tone is done great. This would have had, what's the picture? Yeah, they didn't two-tone the body. It's just, so they got the gold stripe. They have your rocker trim. Wide white walls, vinyl top, dark maroon, matches the interior. They actually have this interior doesn't look like a police interior. So I was looking at it earlier. It looks more upscale. Would have had like a split bench. So a 6-passenger car. It's got Brougham on the C-pillar. Look at that. Just where it's supposed to be. Still before fuel injection on the Caprice. The wheels will look a little bit better with the black wash. I'm probably going to attempt that with this one, but I wanted to show you how it looked out of the package. This is how the taillights were in 86, but they still had the orange markers and the split headlights, and then it went away. 87 or 88, it went to the solid front end. But the grille, so they had most of the changes updated on the 86, just a couple extras, and then they finally got fuel injection and anti-lock on the car. Awesome. No mirrors, but I mean, everybody, I've talked about this. It's a great, perfect casting. The only thing that's downward flaw is the wheels, tires are a little large because they rub the fender well. And this one, the chassis seems to be level with the body, but the way they drilled the hole for the axle was crooked. So this side is lower than this side. Or is it the other way around? Yeah, the driver's side one is lower. So chassis level looks like, but whoever made the hole, so it looks like I'll have to separate that and kind of clean that up, get that to be level. Other than that, the car's pretty good. Came out of the package nice. Didn't have any cloudy windows like some of the vehicles. This has more of a drop-in setup where sometimes they'll glue them or they'll put them flush. Again, I commented I loved how they gave the depth. They need to do the Crown Vics like that when they do the box ones. And they are going to do the 4-door Crown Victoria very soon. And the Diplomat. And AMC Matador is coming down the pike next. That's already going to be released, so hopefully we'll get those to be on film as well. You can see that gold stripe. So that's why this car is loved by so many. All of us secretly clamor for the factory stock vehicle, even though we like high performance. And this one fits the bill. It's part of the 80s. I mean, it's just wonderful. Hopefully I get more of these. The next one that's coming out is going to be like a two-tone car with a hard top. I don't think it has vinyl roof on it. And it's like a silver and bluish Caprice, I think. And they also have that Dodge Monaco. Or, no, the 75, 76 Coronet Red stock that I've got to find as well. So that'll fill in the bill as well. I mean, it's like this. That Royal Monaco. Just good stuff, you know what I mean? All right. last but not least, another new casting. So hopefully this video journey of vehicles will be enjoyable, because these are awesome. And actually, it was funny because I forgot that these were being released, and I actually saw the original movie. It was on one of the streamers. I can't remember which one it is. I mean, I don't have cable, I just have streaming. That's all I need. Most of the stuff I like has been out of production a long time. I'll put it that way. So it's easy for me to find enjoyment on streaming services. Okay. So I found 2 colors yesterday, and then I found the completing color today. Just happened to find it, so I was able to get the complete set within a few days, which rarely happens. It does help that they released us all in the same time. So I just thought it was funny that people would buy one color but not the other 3 or the other 2. I mean, you got to have all 3 of them. So 1967, this is an Austin Mini Cooper S. So they had Austin Minis, they had British Motor and Austin Minis, and they had Morris Minis, and then they had Mini Coopers, and they had Mini Cooper S's, and this was a Mini Cooper S, which is the highest spec of the Mark 1. This is a Mark 1 chassis. So let's just take this blue one out real quick, and I'll rip the other ones out real fast too. But and the other thing is they have the actual map of the job. And the first one is amazing. It's really great. They have so many period vehicles. So it was filmed in 1969. Turin, Italy, very famous for the Fiat plant. They actually filmed on location, and the test track that's built on top of the factory, which is incredible because it was a densely populated city even before the automobile, and they had manufacturing, very good manufacturing over there. So Fiat built that track, and it's amazing. They have all this great footage of the cars being tested up there going very fast, and having the elevator going up to the top. It's very cool, very neat. So anyway, it was filmed up there, and I noticed it, and I was like, that's the test track, that's the test track. So I verified that once I read up on it just to check myself, and I was right. But it's great. I mean, they got the early series Land Rover in it. They have Lamborghini Miuras. They have Aston Martin. I think it was a DB4 or 5 drop head, so it was a convertible. And then they had Jaguar E-Type, so they had Series 1 E-Types. They had the Coupe, and they also had the convertible, so that was really neat. So all these cool cars I was watching, and the Fiat cars and the Alphas. They had Alpha police car. Just all really cool stuff. These are extremely tiny, but if you've ever been around one of these cars, I've been around a few of them. They're extremely tiny. They almost are like you have to do a double take because we're not used to cars this size in America. But they are really, really small cars. They have, they're 10-inch wheel. It's a 10-inch wheel and tire on this vehicle. It barely has a suspension system. It's so light. He used like rubber blocks basically, although the later cars had a more of traditional suspension. But yeah, just very simplistic vehicle. Inline 4-cylinder, transverse mounted. One of the first mass-produced front-wheel drive vehicles. I mean, there's just a lot of cool stuff. You can see it even next to the size of the Caprice, just the difference in scale. So it's just awesome. But they did a great job on it. Greenlight, again, with their new stuff, just like when the Club Wagon came out. Look at the scaling and the detail on these. And they paid attention to using the correct markings on the windshield, and all these plates, I didn't even realize this, but all the numbers of these plates mean something. You can kind of Wikipedia it, but that's the exact plate number for each color. These plates and some of the accoutrements survived off all the cars. They used 16 cars in filming. They destroyed all of them, but some of the original parts in the movie were shipped back and purchased by a collector. And so he was able to reproduce these cars in the mid-2000s. I think in 2009 they came out. He used these cars, Mark 1s. It's a 1.3 liter car, 1275. 70s to 80s horse, I think it went up to, because it started with like 30, then it went to 50 to 60, and now it's 75. So that went through a lot of generations. It started with like an 800cc to then it went to a 900, then it went to 1,000, and then you get it. So then went finally to a 1.3, and then 1.3 went to the Mark II, and the Mark 1 was produced in Australia after it was dropped. In the rest of the world, they kind of produce these cars for a little bit longer. They're very rugged vehicles, very easy to fix. It shared a common transmission and oil sump, so it's kind of like a motorcycle setup, where it was lubricated with the same engine oil. Let's take a zoom. Look at that. Amazing. They roll very nicely. The tires are extremely small. They're even smaller than the Datsun tires, which I thought were difficult because I had to put the tires on the rim on those. This is even smaller. This is almost like having a yard cart, an ATV or something. Very, very small. That's a little boot there. They dropped that. Had a little bit of storage. Very, very cool. You gotta put that steering wheel way up because you gotta put your knees next to it. And it had the rally headlights and the 3 auxiliaries. You can see all the different plate numbers. It's just a cool set. Glad I was able to find them quickly. Time will tell if they're gonna be cars that people overlook, because a lot of the Datsuns have been overlooked for a long time in my area. That might be one of those, or everybody might just get them. Good stuff. Austin. Thought that was kind of cool. All right. Well, we looked at a lot of vehicles. These almost look like little toys next to the Buick. Look at that. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. The size difference. Really, really great stuff. We got premium Hot Wheels coming up next. And then I did get one of the first, for me, 1/25th scale Mopars. B-body, 1977 Fury. So we're going to look at one of those too in 1/25th scale. We'll see the similars between that and the 118. But for now, I think 1/64th World has been good to me. And I think I can go into the weekend feeling very happy. Hope everybody's doing good. Thanks for watching and all your great comments. If you're liking what you see, put the thumbs up, subscribe, more to come. Till next time.